what's Missin Curfew? It's when you kind of play guilty, but you show up.
How nice is a green light on the road, though? No practice tomorrow, no plane, just go.
Scotty Upshaw in the clear, and he scores! Right in front, scores!
A few laughs, a little bit of fun, and obviously a lot of hockey talk.
You're listening to Missin Curfew.
The lads.
Up, dog, fella. How we doing, brother?
We're good. We're good. We're, playoffs are trucking along. We got a couple teams falling out of the mix. We've got a couple great new series to talk about, and it's nice to be in the studio.
Yeah, one game on last night. It felt like I was like, okay, the second round, here we go. Obviously, we'll get 2 a night moving forward, which is perfect for me, right? I get the 4:30 start, and then I got the 7. So I'm going to be able to really dive into these games. But I guess where I'm going with this is the first round of the playoffs is the best.
It is the best. And I'll tell you why, from my standpoint, is if you lose the first game, you can double down on the next one. And I wasn't able to do that last night. And the Panthers, you cost me. All right, boys, you fucking cost me.
Nobody, they cost me too. You know what? Now that we're right there, I'm a little far back from the mic.
Yeah, me too.
Let me get close here. Let me get right in there, muck her out. You know what, Ups? Like, how many days off did the Panthers have? Almost a week?
I think they had a week, a little.
I think some guys had some sunburns out there yesterday.
Yeah.
I think some guys were like, oh, fuck, my jersey just doesn't quite fit right.
Eki. I think he had one.
Eki's feet might have been sunburned. I just think they were off for so long, and everyone has been telling them how good they were, and I did think they came out unbelievable. I thought they came out great. I thought Swayman, this guy, I'd love to get Andrew Raycroft on and talk to him or any other goalie. But to me, as a fan watching the way he's tracking these biskies,
especially for a guy that this is like his first full season of taking over the pipes, and he's making a debauchery of some really high end shooters.
Fuck, I know.
But touching the Florida Panthers and little mishaps, Barkov last night was just missing biskies. Like, he's usually one of the best players with the puck on his stick. They were like, he was missing little stick handles and little one touches here and there. Can't have that happen.
Yeah,
who's serious?
They're missing fucking Sam Bennett too.
Yeah, they should.
And I guess he's coming back. Rumor is he'll be back for game 2. But even when the game started and they went through the lines, I'm like, God, that's just a different team without Sam Bennett.
Yep.
And you need it against the big bad bees. I mean, Patty Maroon's out there being the big rig. Guy's gonna get himself another contract, the big rig. Our boy Trent Frederick last night at the end of the period was just giving it to Ekman Larson. Just giving him the old left jabs. I'm like, this Bruins team is tougher right now. I'm not saying Sam Bennett's going to come in and fight any of those guys, but we talked about how tough Florida was all year, and now Boston seemed to me in that game to be a little bit of a tougher team. It's one game, as our friend John Cooper always says, don't look too much into game 1. You got to hammer the Cats in game 2, though. DraftKings, baby, you got to hammer them. Whatever you put them on in game 1, you double it for game 2.
Yeah,
they cannot lose that game. But man, the bees look good, didn't they?
Yeah, it's going to be a good series. I was expecting this one, a little rematch of last year. There's some bitter taste in Boston's mouth, right? Like, there's no question going in that they all look around the room saying, guys, that feeling last year, it's time we kind of stick it back to them. It's time that
it kind of felt like
they had something to prove last night, and then. To me, as an ex-player, I'm thinking, how tired are these guys? They're going back and forth at Toronto, dealing with customs, dealing with like, oh my God, are we going to blow this? Are we going to blow another 3-1 lead? And then they go down to Florida with a 1-day break, and they go in and they basically used the momentum. It's not that their bodies probably weren't sore or that they weren't sucking a little wind, but they used that momentum and that feeling that they had in the room. And not like baseball where you win a series, no matter what, you just go out and get just completely
spray the champagne.
You just go and you're just boozing and having a good time. No, these guys were, probably a glass of wine. If I know my boy Shaddy, sit back, a glass of vino, a nice chicken parm. But you got to get ready to play again. And these guys showed up and they, being down 1-0 in the game, they come back and they just pour it on. What a second period of hockey for them.
Yeah, they seemed just to me as the game went on too, like it was almost like they were still kind of engaged in that long 7-game series. And like you said, they jump on the plane, they get there, boom, they're right back into it. Like, it's almost like they didn't have time to even think about it.
Yeah,
all right, let's go, boys.
Which could be the best.
Yeah. I mean, I used to love playing every other night. I didn't love back-to-back so much, but the every other night, I'm like, all right, get in, have a sheet, get down there, let's play.
Yeah, I mean, that's you almost get a week off. It's like an Olympic break.
Yeah.
Except you don't go to Cabo, but, how do you stay on top of your game?
I want to go to Cabo.
Yeah.
I want to go to Cabo. I really want to go to Cabo, bud. I really want to. Listen up, dog. Let's hit the intro real quick here. Fellas, if you haven't watched the Tom Brady roast yet, fucking do yourself a favor and turn it on. She's 3 hours long, so if you're up, dog, get a glass of wine or get the weed pen out or whatever you want to do, the old-fashioned if you're me, and take it in, buddy. The only one that really laid an egg to me was, and I love Randy Moss, and I couldn't imagine. I was sitting there thinking, like, imagine going up there and having to do this in front of all these people. And, you know, Randy Moss is on ESPN or was on ESPN, but Gronk killed it. He took some heat, Gronk. Edelman killed it. Belichick came out and killed it. And then all the comedians were, I mean, it was unbelievable.
Top notch.
Dana White was great. Yeah. I loved when Jeff Ross says to Dana White, I love you, Dana White. You're like Michael Vick, but with human beings. It was unbelievable. And then, you know,
Andrew Schultz was funny too.
Oh,
that guy's
unbelievable.
hilarious.
The two girls were unbelievable.
Yeah. What did he say? You hold back. You're like Dana holding back purses from Brazilians.
Yeah.
It was all time funny, man. And they just, I would say, to answer your question there, like, you don't know if you could do it. I think you go in with a pretty solid game plan of what you're going to say. Yeah. Like, not just these little show notes that we have here for the podcast. I think you got her word for word. It's almost like reciting your wedding vows, man. You can't fuck that up because you're right. Yeah, you're on national TV and you're probably getting pinned, right? Like, we used to get pinned and try to talk on our podcast. It's not perfect.
No, they were up there drinking tequila.
I know.
Sam J, she's a black lesbian comedian. She was hilarious. I can't even repeat what she said on this podcast, but it was unbelievable. And then I can't seem to find the blonde girl, Nikki Glaser. That's her. Her bit was unbelievable. She at the very end, she's like, and if Tom proved anything, that he'll never stop until he gets something done, no matter what he does. So Tom, I bet you can't make me come. Tom, I bet you can't make me come.
When he talked about the jiu-jitsu trainer. And
my God.
You know, now he's going to kick your ass while he's eating hers.
Yeah, he does. It's unbelievable. He goes, Tom, it's, you know, what were you thinking? You know, your wife goes to jiu-jitsu 8 times a week and she's still a white belt. Like, what were you thinking, Tom? And then, by the way, you know, it's kind of sucked to know the guy that's, you know, banging your ex-wife could kick your ass while he's eating her ass. And I was just like, oh my God, man. And my girl Mac Miller sleep beside me, and I am fucking dying, man. It was unbelievable. And to Tom Brady, man, obviously up dog, he didn't have to do that. And then he came on at the end and roasted guys. It was unbelievable. Peyton Manning came out, and then he let Peyton Manning have it. Belichick and him did a shot. Robert Kraft and Belichick did a shot. There was only one thing where Brady got pissed when Kevin Hart said something to Rob Kraft about massages.
Yeah, it was Jeff Ross said it.
Was it Jeff Ross?
And he stood up and came out. Hey,
stop for that.
Yeah.
Enough for that.
Yeah, not to Mr. Kraft.
It was funny too. Kevin Hart's like, I don't know what it is with you white boys talking about dick jokes all the time, draining Tom's balls and shit. And Tom's just there being like, oh, that's funny. No, Tom, that's not funny. We're talking about dicks. He's like, look at Willie McGee over here. And he's like, you talk dicks with Willie McGee, but get that shit out of here, bro. And it was just like, it was unbelievable. So,
how do you think Giselle felt on Monday morning waking up?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably not perfect, right?
I mean, he was taking.
Who do you think took the most heat other than Tom Brady?
Gronk took a lot of heat about being a dummy.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, big time heat. I would say Gronk is the next after Tom.
Yeah.
Tom's was about crypto too. The one girl's like, Tom, how did you not know that you're going to get that crypto? He goes, crypto's not even real. Even Gronk knows that. And she's like, yeah, I know that money not real. She goes, yeah, Tom, I know that money not real. And I fucking just died.
That is funny.
It was unbelievable.
I read last night, I just happened to read that FTX stuff on what he made. Do you know how much money he made? He made like 55 bananas a year for that.
Tom Brady did?
Tom Brady for like 12 hours of work. 55 million.
That's not bad. That's almost as good as his Fox Sports deal for 375 million.
Good for him.
Check it out, fellas. If you haven't seen it, it's unbelievable. Shout out. This is a weekly occurrence here. This Todd Pickup's such a good guy. And Dennis Shannon. But big brothers, big sisters yesterday at Newport Beach Country Club. First of all, thanks to our boy Stoley Babe, Jared Stoll and Teddy Purcell to come down. It was
2 legends.
It was so much fun. I haven't laughed we laugh a lot when we golf, but playing with those two guys we haven't seen in forever. I laughed on the front nine more than I've laughed forever. I stopped laughing on the back nine when I started slashing it around. But thank you to them. But Todd Pickup once again absolutely killed it. His family's going to match for every birdie that was made there. Sorry, Todd, I didn't chip it. I didn't make one birdie. But for every birdie that was made there yesterday, the Pickup family's going to donate, I think, $1,000 or whatever it is. So just, buddy, it was nationally beyond National League. So thanks to Todd, man. It was a great day, was it not?
It was a great day. A great cause, boys and girls, of Newport Beach that we've been doing this now a couple of years, and proud to be able to jump in the horse race, which lasted 2 holes for us. And I didn't, I got my iron claw.
You had a hell of a shot in there. So you started.
I can't chip. I stubbed a chip, and it just ended the day for the fellas. It wasn't perfect for all my buddies out there who know my golf game. It's a kink in the armor.
Well, at least Tim Smith owes you a G, though. Eh?
Yeah.
That guy's a beauty, man. I seen him leave, and he had his hat on like sideways, and he was talking on the phone. And I just yelled out, I'm like, Smitty, shake her off, fella, shake her off. He's like, I can't believe I did that.
It wasn't perfect, but a great day to be in Newport. A Monday golf tournament. Didn't know I was going to slug about 10 beers and 4 tequilas.
I mean, that's just Todd.
4 cigars.
How nice is that? It just picks a legend. Like, hey, our Big Brother's big. He does so much for that charity, and obviously he's lucky enough that his family owns Newport Beach Country Club, and he's like, yeah, we'll do it there on a Monday when it's closed. We had the course to ourselves. Everybody had a caddy. Course was mint. Greens were mint. Booze everywhere. Pacificos. It was unbelievable, and the winning team was a bunch of our boys, a beauty squad of Thomas J. Doherty, the Mac Attack, Benny McAllister, Mike Carpenter, and one of Benny Mac's buddies. But that's our Friday boys bringing home some hardware.
It sure was, yeah.
So it's good to see.
Good for them.
So, Pick, thank you. Stoley, Baby, Ted, you guys are beauties. We'll see you at Bel Air. Last but not least on the intro here, Updog, I know this was last week, fellas, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it. Monty's comments after Game 6 of calling out Pasta, and we all know how it worked, right? He got the Game 7 winner, and I played great last night in Game 1 against. But, dude, when he was saying what he was saying, I was like, I don't know if I would say this. I would maybe pull him into my office and say, hey, Pasta, we need you, fella. Like, Marshy's done his thing. This is your time. But to go out and publicly say it's on Pastrnak is what I heard. And for Pasta to respond, Monty, way to give your balls a tug. I know you know him personally, so you can jump in here, but it was a ballsy move, Ups.
Yeah, I think in order to do that, in order to say, like, Marshy's been great. He's been great all series, and Pasta needs to do more. He needs to do more, right? I think in order to say that publicly, Obes, after a game, yes, Monty's emotional, but he's also been in this situation before. He's also, Game 7 now is upon him being up 3-1, and he, in his mind, is like, I have no regrets now. I cannot let this go on again without what I think. Maybe he looked back, Obi, and said, what did I do last year that I could have done better? Should I have called out one of my guys?
Good point.
Because not 365 days ago, I was in the same spot.
He's like, holy fuck, here I am again.
No, and you know what? It's his job. Fuck, if he loses that game, he's done. Arguably, he could be done.
He might have been piped.
Now, do I think that's the right call or not? No, because it's everyone's duty. But you know what? He goes, fuck it. Maybe he did it out of maybe he didn't even know if that word or that question was coming at him. But I think he just stood up and said what was on his heart. He said, "I've got no regrets here. You know what? Pasta can be better."
I think he was going up there, and he said before he left that podium, he was going to let Pasta know how he felt. I think going in, he knew that.
Yeah,
in my opinion, but good on you, because maybe last year he handled it differently, right? Maybe he was lovey-dovey with these guys and stroking them off, and he thought, "Hey, fuck that, Pasta, it's on you, brother."
Yeah.
And has Sheldon Keefe not been fired yet, by the way? I've been busy golfing and hanging out. Has he been fired?
I just read today on TSN that there's a Shanahan, there's a Brad Treliving, and then there's another dude who's probably some other hierarchy up there in the brass, but they have like some sort of presser coming.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be some shake.
I just think for Sheldon too, it's like, listen, I get, being the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs has got to be one of the best things in the world. When you win in the regular season, you got great teams, but there's other opportunities out there that, maybe will be better for him too, right? Like, I do think Sheldon Keefe's a good coach, but like, does he really want to come back up? So like, do you really want to come back again and be like, all right, here we go. I got to answer the same questions for 82 games and live the same lifestyle. And when I go for dinner, the restaurant or the grocery store, people are looking at me like, when are you guys going to get it done? Like, it's got to be growing on, like, it's got to be weighing on him.
Yeah. Well, which is why he was probably talking about the Leafs in third person immediately after the game. Like, people want to play the Leafs, trap them into beating themselves. Like the Leafs, like not our team or not my guys or not this and that. I mean, maybe he already foreshadowed himself into thinking this could be my last game if I don't win. And just, the Leafs gave it everything they had. Call it what it is, the illnesses and, some of the drama that happened in Game 4 at home for the Leafs. I think there's an issue there. There's an internal shakeup that I think needs to happen. You think it's not getting back to the drawing board, as it needs to be just shaken up.
Yeah, I give Monty credit though, bro. That was ballsy by him. It worked out, and then obviously, if you're out there and you're a GM or you don't think you need veteran guys, just listen to what the boys are saying about Kevin Shattenkirk and the big rig. Obviously Shatty in there saying what he said before Game 7. You need veteran guys around your team, especially if you're going to try to win a Stanley Cup. But Monty, good on you, fella. I love when a coach is honest and tells you how it feels, especially for our line of work, up dog. But I was like, that takes a big ball sack to do it.
Yeah.
So, good for him. We'll be right back here at Missin Curfew. Welcome back to Missin Curfew, up dog.
Fella.
Missin Curfew, dog of the week. Listen, I know once again this was Saturday, but we haven't been in the studio. I wanted to give some love to a former buddy of ours, a former Duck, Hampus Lindholm, who I thought was absolutely massive in Game 7.
Big time.
Did I love the goal that Samsonov gave up to him? I didn't love it. If it hits you in the shoulder, I think as a defenseman that you have to make that save. And I also thought when Matthews made that juicy pass to Nylander that I thought one was enough. Samsonov played great all the way up to that. I didn't think Boston was going to be able to score. Lindholm with the big goal. We all know about the pool, little bank shot to Pasta, but I just thought he was great in Game 7, earning that money. So up dog, Hampus Lindholm, dog of the week.
Yeah, just to touch on it, you can't have enough of these guys that play hockey hard and play the right way. And just good on him for knowing the situation, just knowing how important it was when your team gets down a goal to turn up the knob and get to another level of play, which is exactly what Hampus Lindholm did. His team fed off it, finding a way to just get one greasy one, which is greasy is what it was. And then just that pass off the boards in OT, is it Samsonov's fault? Does he not? Should he come out and poke it away, and be kind of on point? I think he should. He should be on his toes and not sit back in the crease. But to know your building, if that puck doesn't hit that wall exactly in the fucking inch it hit it, it's not a goal. It's coming out the other way. It's hitting and going up the wall. It's hitting and coming behind the net. It was a perfect play. Way to know your building. That used to happen in Detroit all the time.
I just wrote that down.
Nicholas Lidstrom used to do that in Detroit.
I just wrote down Lidstrom at
all
the
time.
Lidstrom at the Joe.
It would be
clockwork. Actually, you would look at him and be like, fuck you. But I just had a good gap, and now you fucking bank it off there to Datsuk or Zetterberg flying down or Holmstrom or Franzen. You're like, if I don't hold my gap, Datsuk's going to walk in. Yeah. If I hold my gap, Lidstrom's going to bank it off them right to the tape. It's like, come on, man.
But did your coach ever tell you to watch out for that play from them? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We used to know going into games. I remember Pasta doing this too, by the way. Pasta's a guy that would circle up. I remember him getting pucks off the walls like this. Blowing the zone and getting not even getting to the red line and shooting it down. That's a play that only guys do in their building.
Used to do it all the time.
I know. So it's a fantastic goal. What a goal. One of the biggest in Boston Bruin history. And it stung us a bit.
I had a lot going through my mind when I was playing at Joe Louis Arena. There was a lot going through my mind of what's going to take place out here. But Sedin's used to be unbelievable at it. Cross corner, they get the line. Cross corner, Hank went cross corner to Danny. Get it, Danny. Then backhand sauce it back to Hank. But you're right. It's a great play. And Lindholm played unbelievable. So good for him. That's why he's the dog of the week here at Missin Curfew. Uppy's World, party time. On the road again. Nothing like getting on the road again. Fucking up, dog. In typical Missin Curfew fashion, we've been just scrambling. I got home last night, dude. I didn't look at my phone once the whole fucking day. Not once. I'm out there just having a time. I got emails and texts, and I got to book flights and hotel rooms, and I'm like, fuck. But we're booked. We're coming. I can't wait to see a peacock around Vancouver.
I love this. This is Uppy's World right now. It should be. We should have did a quick turnaround and turned it into Obi's World, because you're going back to Vancouver.
I am.
A city that is just licking its chops to get you back. Yeah. They really are. From our mentions on our X to the just to how much connection you have with all the fans up there. Your shows that you do on the radio up there for the boys. What better spot to go in and watch McDavid and Draisaitl face off against Hughes and Miller. Miller, your fucking favorite boy. And I'm on Edmonton, and you're on the Canucks too. I mean, this is just set up for a perfect couple games.
Yeah. No, you may take some heat from some Canucks fans.
Shit.
But I mean, listen, the games are going to be unbelievable. Shout out to our boy Roger Hardy at Kits Iowa.
Hardy,
Raj, man, you hooked us up. We got 2 center ice tickies for game 1. However, we're still looking for game 2. Anyone out there? Game 2, preferably in a suite with Crown Royal and Labatt Blue. But if anyone needs a couple ex-NHLers to come in there and help chip in, we're your guys. But games would be great. But just the city, I know how much you love the city.
City's going to be
I'm looking
fantastic.
forward to getting you up there. I twisted your arm into staying at the Pacific Rim, and I made you fly first class, and
no, it's good.
It's adding up. The bills are adding up, but I'm looking forward to getting up there with you and getting back on the road with you. I haven't been on the road with you since All-Star game.
I can't wait, buddy. I can't wait. And just to touch on a couple things we're doing, we're discussing a little Friday pre-show for our fans, little meet and greet with the boys. Our friends, like you just mentioned, Roger Hardy and his friends at Kits Eyewear, we're going to do a little activation maybe Friday afternoon at their store in Kitsilano. By the way, Kitsilano is one of the nicest places on the planet.
Yeah, I used to get pinned at that place in Kitsilano. Yeah.
Great spot.
That was my year-end bender.
I know.
Every afternoon.
I know. Lululemon, their first ever store right there. But look, the weather looks great.
Oh, buddy, this is the
I
best
mean,
time
bring
of
the
year.
sticks. Bring the sticks.
Hey, a lot of boys
teeing it up.
There was a great quote, a great clip that Princey put out last week of, you asked me about this time of year, and you're like, the outfits come out, Obes. And a bunch of the boys back in Van were loving that. They're like, fuck it up, dog, eh? The outfits come out, Obes. And the patios are buzzing. It's going to be unbelievable, dude.
I know.
It's going to be unbelievable. And you know what? Like, we're going to get into the series, but I don't know. I saw the Canucks practicing yesterday. They're pushing the pace pretty well.
They should be.
They were pushing the pace pretty
I
well.
know. Well, you think Tox is going to let them up, by the way?
I know.
And they're coming off a big Game 6 win. I mean, they had a night in Nashville after they win, and get home, couple-day break.
Yeah.
They're getting an Oiler team that's rested.
Are you happy that we're staying at Pacific Rim now that's all said and done?
Yeah, I mean, I do like
prices went down a little bit.
Tell you, I do like my nice sheets.
You're gonna have
nice sheets and a spa.
And listen,
good brekkie.
We always used to talk about, you're paying for the real estate. I just have a feeling that lobby bar at the Pacific
Get a couple
Rim
slices of sashimi.
I think it's going to be humming. I think it's going to be atmosphere. It's going to be. And I love Cole Harbour. That's where I lived when I played. Shout out to Dave Bowl, and I did look on my travel thing for the Westin. I was like, fuck, maybe we'll stay at the Westin for Bowl, and she's sold out. Fucking Westin.
Crazy that the hotel
Westin.
They had to upgrade that place, though, eh?
I didn't mind that place. I'll never forget. I'll never forget walking back in that place. We beat the Canucks, and we weren't playing. I was in Nashville. We beat the Canucks, and we weren't playing for 3 nights in Calgary. So it was the biggest green light you have ever seen in your life, dog. And I come strolling in there about 5:30 in the morning. And you remember how the back elevator? Remember where the back elevator was?
Totally.
So I'm coming in. I got my tie off, and I got a friend with me, and I'm walking in. And if it isn't fucking what's his name, Fenton, Paul Fenton coming the other way, heading to the airport for like a 6:30 flight, and I'm like, hey, this is my assistant GM here, so let's just try to play it cool here, would you? So I walk by him, and I'm like, hey, Fence, how you doing? He's like, hey, Obi, don't worry, I didn't see anything. I'm like, wow, fucking right, Spency, that's unreal. The next day in the afternoon, we had a team building curling event. I'm like, hi, fucking Trotzy curling event, are you kidding me? So I dragged myself out of the Westin bed, put some water in my face, shower up, whatever, and we get there, and Trotzy's like, hey, fuck. He's like, what time did you get home last night? I'm like, what are you talking? I go, Trotsy, we just beat the Canucks. It's we don't play for 3 days. We just had a great team building night. You're going to ask me what time I got home?
Yeah, why?
And by the way, he told me he wasn't going to say anything to you. He goes, hey, just slow down a little bit. You don't need to stay out that late.
You're like, do we need liars in this organization? Or what, guys?
I go, loose lips sink ships around here.
Totally.
God.
Paul Fenton.
I go, I wanted to be like, Pex was out later.
I don't even think Webbs went home.
Yeah. I think fucking Wardo's still out there somewhere, bud.
Suter and Webbs. Yeah, geez, what kind of decor you got here?
Oh, it was such a great night up. We went in there. We beat them. We were so happy. I was so happy. I had 7 line, 3 days off. I was just like, this is going to be.
Was Kleiner there with you there?
Oh, yeah.
So Kleiner, Zanin. You had Kleiner,
No, Zanin. Our back end was Suits and Webbs.
Yeah.
Frankie Beaulieu.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Klein.
Yeah.
Me, Cody Franzen.
That was
and
good.
That
was good.
Yeah. Our 7th D was Sulzer. Remember Sulzer, the red guy, German guy? Good guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah, that's good. Remember the time we had to go to practice there after our rookie party? You came down.
But I'll never forget, dude. You had on one of the sickest 3-piece coats ever.
I just fired in a couple Advils.
And then you had Lululemon track pants on and your fucking sneakers. I'm like business casual. I feel like That was the only time I ever seen you a little. You were a little hung.
Yeah,
that was when we were getting ready at GM Place, and boys like, what a night, eh? Scoopsy, miss you, love you, buddy. Rest in peace. Broadway's like, bouncing around and. I'm like, fuck, who do you think the drunkest guy there was last night? You're tying up your wheels. You're like, O'Brien.
I go, yeah, when he was standing on the table there, standing on Gurgis' bar, fucking slugging him back.
I knew that was my last one. No,
you sent it fucking out flying.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Flying.
I remember Gurgis came over with the bill. The goddamn receipt was like fucking 3 feet long. I go, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, I got my credit. I got the team credit card. I'm looking at. I'm like, Gurgis, what is this?
Yeah.
I go, Obi, come here. Look what he's trying to do to us here. You're like, don't even look at that right now. Who cares?
Like, we'll take care of that later, Peter. But yeah, looking forward to it, Uppy's World. Party
go.
time. We're on the road, baby. Up talk, my man. Get this guy a Labatt Blue.
Presented by Labatt Blue Light, folks. The pristine Pilsner. Enjoy your beers together, fellas, so you can live life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer. Labatt USA in Buffalo, New York.
Up dog. Tasty. Cold
pints.
It's May 2-4 weekends right around the corner. You got to load up on the Labatt Blues for May 2-4 weekend. Get them at the lake.
Yeah, clean out the fridge. Throw all the pickles and jars and the jam and all the mayo and just fill it up with Labatt Blue.
Get it out of there. Up dog, first and foremost, get this guy Labatt Blue. Rick Bowness.
Bonesy.
Hell of a run, fella. I would love to try to get Bones on here. I'm going to track down his number. I think I have his old number, but I would love to get Rick Bowness on here. I got a few things I would like to say to him. One being looking back at how good of a communicator he was with me in Vancouver, right? Like I was younger. I was 25, 26 years old. I thought I should have probably been playing more minutes and, wasn't quite ready to accept my role as a 5'6" PK guy. I thought I had more in me than that. And at times, I was still immature and Bonesy would pull me aside and communicate with me. And as my career moved on, I realized he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to pull me aside and talk to me and care about me. And Bonesy always brought the energy. Good morning, Opes. How you doing, boys? Never saw Bonesy come in and not have a smile on his face. Well, maybe we lost 8 straight at home. Obviously, maybe he didn't have a smile then. But his energy, Bonesy, I respect you. You had a hell of a career. Sucks you didn't get that cup, fella, but enjoy the golf course.
Did you know he's going to end up being a great head coach? Like I always looked at him as the perfect guy assistant.
Yeah,
right? Wasn't he?
Good question.
And then what an opportunity he had in Dallas when he took over, and then jump into Winnipeg and being like the ultimate front-facing guy in a really hard place to live and play.
Yeah,
but I mean,
especially
right?
on your handicap. Hey,
he loves golfing. He comes Tampa, Vancouver, and then Dallas. You work on your short game in those places.
I didn't think, to answer your question, I didn't think Bonesy would ever be a head coach again. I thought he was the perfect assistant coach. Run the D or be the associate coach and run the power play or penalty kill. It turned out that he was a hell of a head coach.
Yeah. But it proves that you can be a guy's guy and still be a head coach and it still be a successful way to approach the game, right? To approach the leadership would be the
yeah, exactly. And I would say this about Bonesy, and he obviously didn't get a Stanley Cup as a coach, but I would hire him as some kind of advisor to the GM, or give him some kind of job on where he wants to be, and maybe he can get his cup that way, because you want Rick Bowness around your organization.
Yeah,
you want his energy.
Yeah.
Like he used to come out, and there was days that I was pissed at Bonesy because I wasn't playing or he didn't play me the night before, and I wanted to be mad at him, fucking Bonesy. And then you see him out there high stepping, and you're like, all right, we're in the NHL here.
Yeah,
let's get her going.
Yeah.
So I hope he takes some time off. But if he wants to get back in the game, if you're a GM out there or an owner, I would get Rick Bowness around your organization, because good energy guy. Up dog, going back to last week's Game 7 on Saturday, and just the whole first round. Your former teammate, a guy I know you respect a lot, and so do I, watching him play, is Joel Edmondson. Get this guy Labatt Blue. Thought he played unbelievable.
Hell yeah.
As the series went on, and we watched Game 7 together, I said, fuck, they're double shifting Eddie. Double shifting him. Every time I looked up, he had the puck more than Matthews. I'm like, Jesus, this guy's all over the map.
I love watching the game with you too, because it was the one thing that stood out to you that you were like, fuck, he's out there again.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's the physical play, and it's the moving the puck, and it's the fucking toughness that stood out to you. And you need that in these big Game 7s. And he's been there. He's got his cup, and he plays hard. And I'm glad you got to witness him, and Toronto got to witness that because he's a great player, great guy.
Yeah, he was one of the guys is the reason I took the Leafs. Him, Max Domi, Bertuzzi, as much as sometimes he looks sloppy out there. Revo, obviously Matthews, Nylander, but Edmondson was one of the guys I'm like, I can get behind this team now. This guy plays the right way. He's fucking big, gets out there and plays. So Eddie, enjoy the year-end bender, buddy. Get a Labatt Blue in you. And then going back to Game 6, I was hard on Willie Nylander at the start of the series. I didn't know if he was hurt. I knew how important he would be to the team. I needed him out there. A, because I had money on them, but B, because I grew up a Leafs fan, and I know like guys like my boy Krager and all the boys back home, Skip and Stoney and the boys, they love this team. Robert McNabb, Crency, they all love this team. Nylander in Game 6 and Game 7 played unbelievable. Get yourself a Labatt Blue. I thought he was good up dog when he got in the lineup.
Yeah, he was. And if it wasn't for this guy, Jeremy Swayman, who get yourself a case of Labatt Blue Lights, get them and drink them. Because I'm going to need you to maybe play drunk next game, so the Panthers.
Hey, someone take Swayman out.
Yeah, but wow, what a game, what an effort in the first round. I mean, he hasn't let in more than 2 goals in the first 7 games of the playoffs. It's absolutely incredible. He's kicking, he's seeing pucks, he's smothering pucks. He's making his team feel like they can just go play hockey, and he's got everything else. So Jeremy Swayman. Man, you've you prove that you're the guy in net. You prove that you own the Toronto Maple Leafs, and now you're on to the next one. But what you're doing so far is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and we touched on it earlier, but just to me how calm he looks in there, right? And like you can see how well he's seeing the puck. Like,
yeah,
and I just looked back, like playing with Luongo and Pekka Rinne when they were locked in.
Yeah,
like they would just everything that came at them, like boom, so square, no rebound, boom, and that's what he is. And he doesn't look like that big of a guy. Like Allmark gets in there, you're like, okay, I get it. But Swayman, he's got to really trust his angles. And I'm with you up, dog. I'd be sending maybe a girl to his room. I'd be trying anything. I'd be getting a model from Miami, like, hey, Swayman, hey, come here, bud.
Yeah,
because he's in the zone. So get him a Labatt Blue,
big time. And then another guy last night, and this is just such a heartfelt story. Brandon Carlo has a baby boy. Kid has a great name, Crew Carlo. He has his boy basically 24 hours ago. Steps in the lineup not 10 minutes before the game starts. Shows up at the rink right before the game and goes out and gets an absolute bar down Mexico, our boy Jimmy Scoop style. What a game. And those shots, by the way, not just Carlo, but the 3 goals that Boston scored, the first 3 on Bobrovsky, were absolute missiles and fucking just labeled.
Missiles.
They were
missiles.
Just crazy, right? Just missiles. And
that's just a good word to describe how sick a shot is.
Yeah, it's just a
missile.
When she walks by, you go, look at that missile.
Yeah, that's too.
Right?
She's a fucking missile. But that's a great guy's got that was a missile. But up dog, you're so right, and I knew that would hit home for you as being a good dad that you are now, and Beckham's out there shooting pucks, and guy's a tank. Guys had big hands on him. He's kind of just a wrench too, doesn't he? But listen, I'll tell you what. I saw a video of Carlo coming back in the room, and guys high-fiving him and hugging him, and then you see after Game 7 the emotion, and you see what these guys were saying, and I don't know. Like I took the Cats in the series. I still believe it's only one game, but Bruins got some mojo going right now that I'm like they seem to really care about each other and really love each other. I'm like,
it's well
look
said.
Out. Right?
Very well said. Said from a guy that's been there, Obes. You've been there. You felt some heartache, but you've also felt some real good emotion, winning a series. And that's exactly what these guys do. And the course of a Stanley Cup run, you have those ups and downs. And it's how do you react, moving forward. But after a big win, if you see that your guys are uplifted like that and can bring it, like no matter the pain or the travel or the hurt, you just go out and you face a team like Florida and just work them in their barn game 1. That's a recipe for disaster. That's that was
a statement.
It's a statement game.
It was a statement game, and they're enjoying it. I can't imagine how much fun they're having. Up dog, Adidas Tea Times, fella, presented by Adidas Golf, made for wherever you play.
Oh, a lot of nice tracks out there.
A lot of nice tracks in Toronto.
Yeah, the boys.
Don't know how many tea times these boys are getting out there, right? Like,
I don't know. Well, it depends who you are.
Be a tough text to a guy that's like a diehard Leaf fan if you're like, Marner and being like, hey, thinking about bringing Matthews and so-and-so out to the, what's it called, the National there.
Great
Okay? The guy's like, fuck you, bud. Yeah, right. Go play Don Valley Parkway there. On
Port
the
Hope Country Club there. Yeah. Go play Port Hope.
Go play Dalewood. I'll start first here with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Listen, I thought some people said on our social media, like, I guess they lost better, right? We lost again, but at least we lost better this time. Some people were saying, at least to me, they showed some heart. If they would have came out at the start of the series and played with the desperation that they played with in Game 5, 6, and 7, in my opinion, they would have won the series. I thought Domi was good. I thought Bertuzzi was good. We just touched on Edmondson. Unfortunate about Joseph Wall, up dog. I don't know how banged up he was. I haven't heard, what exactly it was, but I do believe as good as Samsonov played, I still would have liked him in there. I know they lost 2-1, but I just thought he was tracking the puck so well as well. But listen, it's time for a change, my man. You can't continue on, what's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again? To me, there's got to be changes with this hockey club.
Yeah, I think if you're a hockey fan, you're gonna expect the same, right? You're gonna expect the same. Whether you like the Leafs or you don't, you can't move on right now thinking that there's no change. And by change, it's not like, hey, let's sign a couple free agents, or let's not sign this guy. It's move one of the core pieces, if not a couple, and really make a splash, right? You're the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you look at the way the Lakers do things, if you look at the way the New York Yankees do things, they make splashes. When it doesn't work, their fans demand change. And we're in a situation right now where, we expect the Leafs to go on a run. We need Canada to go on a run. Right now we got 2 teams left, Vancouver, Edmonton, but the Toronto Maple Leafs, with how much skill they have and how much they pay these guys, you expect them to get out of the first round, if not every year. Not just this year. So one thing that stood out to me on these postseason pressers is, Marner ended up speaking about this series and said, like the Stanley Cup, it's so hard, to quote him kind of. Stanley Cup's, the hardest thing to win, which is why, it's difficult to get out of the first round, right? but he goes, but it's a war out there. And as he says, it's a war out there, I'm thinking, what kind of fucking war were you in? Honestly, what war did you think was out there? And if so, you were letting your teammates get shot.
Yeah.
You weren't standing in front of pucks. You weren't sacrificing your body. You didn't go out of your way to play a tougher or more, a game that you're outside of your shell. Yeah, to me, I'm looking at him and I would be disappointed if I was a guy like Revo or like Edmondson or like a guy that Bertuzzi who goes out and engages himself, and Matthews even, right? But you just gotta play a game, or you should be humiliated. You should be like a guy that you can't. How do you wake up the next day? How do you wake up the next day, look at your teammates, let alone fucking the press, the guys asking questions.
Yeah.
How do you look at your teammates?
It's hard to win a Stanley Cup. I'm sitting here. Both of us don't have a Stanley Cup. You've been to a couple conference finals. I didn't get past the second round. I know it's hard, Mitch Marner. You're making $11 million or whatever you're making, 10 point, whatever it is. And unfortunately, up dog, that's how it works. You're making that much money, bro. They're paying you to fucking win a Stanley Cup, man. That's what it comes to. Not have a great regular season and toe drag and fucking work the power play around. You're making $10.5 million to bring a Stanley Cup to Toronto, and you haven't got past the second round. And I kind of know what he was saying. We're gods. It came out the wrong way. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think if he could reword it, he probably would have. But I'm with you, up dog. For him to walk around that city, I can't expect him spending much time downtown Toronto right now. I could see him going down to Key West or Bahamas or getting the fuck out of town. Yeah. But I got a rumor mill.
Yeah, you've been seeing.
I'm not a GM, but I got a rumor mill.
I like this.
So listen, you got to trade Marner somewhere where they got cap space, right? And where he wants to go play with somebody. And probably to a decent city, right? He's not just going to waive his no trade and say, I'm going to go to Updog's favorite place, Columbus, and play, right? I'm not going to go to Obi's favorite place in Calgary and play. But how about the Chicago Blackhawks at the Madhouse on Madison? You can go in there. You can play with Connor Bedard. They can bring on your $10 million. And coming back to Toronto, I know this guy hasn't played great there, but I'm thinking if you put him with Morgan Ryland, Seth Jones, and if you could ever get this young defenseman out there, I don't think they would trade this guy. Kevin Korchinski, 55. But in my deal, it's Jones, Kevin Korchinski, Nick Foligno, and a first for Mitch Marner. I would even do Marner for Seth Jones, Nick Foligno, and a first.
The first needs to be in there?
I don't know. I was just trying to sweeten the pot.
Well, how many years does Marner have left? He doesn't.
Because
have that many.
I don't think after Dubas left town, up dog, I don't think they have many first-round picks. So for me, I'm just trying to sweeten the pot. I think Seth Jones playing on the right side with Morgan Riley would rejuvenate Seth Jones' career. He was a Norris candidate in Columbus before he went to Chicago, where he thought he was going to go there. Remember they signed Fleury, they had Taves coming back. Remember that year, up dog, where they thought they were going to be good?
Yeah.
And they just shit their pants and everyone got traded. Brookbank got fired that year. I know Nick Foligno didn't play as well when he got traded for a first-rounder to Toronto, but you bring Nick Foligno in that dressing room, you see what the big rig's doing, you see what Shaddy's doing in Boston. You bring in Seth Jones to play on the right side with Morgan Riley, Nick Foligno. If you could ever get that young Kevin Korchinski out of Chicago, which I don't think they'll trade him, and a first, I don't know.
He's only got 1 year. He's got 1 year left on his deal, and then he's a free agent.
Yeah.
So
and Tavares too.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking, like, what is the team? And I wish we could pull it up on our.
What do you need?
No, I have it. But just how the dynamics of what that would work. What it would. You take on 1 year of the guy's deal. Do you give up a first for that?
Maybe not. You can have listen. The two.
I would love for him to get a first.
The two key pieces for me in the trade are Seth Jones for Nick Foligno.
Yeah,
I would do that if I was Brad Treliving. People are probably going to be like, "Holy fuck, I'll smoke another one." But to me, you rejuvenate Seth Jones' career. They need that right shot defenseman. Lubushkin Uppy, who you did say was a decent fit. He was played okay.
Yeah.
But Seth Jones is a better player than him that can move better, that can,
Totally.
and to me, they don't have that right-handed D-man to play with Morgan Riley. You bring Foligno in, and maybe somebody else up front. Maybe, I don't know if Ryan Donato's still under contract for Chicago. He's another guy that I love his game. But to me, it's time for Marner to move on. He's got 1 year left on his deal. And Brad, you got to be like, fella, where do you want to go?
Seth Jones making 9.5 to 2030.
Yeah.
It's a big.
That's not perfect either. But you got Matthew Matthews for how many years?
Yeah, you got him for 3 more years.
So how many years does Jones have after that? 5?
Yeah, Matthews is still 27.
12 on long-term IR.
Yeah.
You got a window of 4 more years, I think, with Matthews, right?
Yeah.
You got to check.
Foligno's a great, and I mean, what a great piece and a story to, Nick Foligno's career. He goes to Chicago, signs a deal, gets an extension. They love what he's been doing there. Yeah. I mean, it says a lot. Like, would they even want to give him up? I don't know.
I don't think they would. I think to bring in, listen, you guys fucking Loops and Cody were, telling me how good Bedard is, but all everyone kept saying is he got nobody to play with. He's got no one. Well,
totally.
Mitch Marner could go there. They're not going to make the playoffs for the next, 2 or 3 years, so Mitch won't take any heat about being soft in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
So now it's got to be a place where he wants to go. They're in the Western Conference. Play with Bedard. They're both soft.
Yeah.
They're both toe dragging, won't hit anyone. It'll be great. It'll be great for them. But to me, you may be right. They may not want to part with Nick Foligno or the Seth Jones contract thing here. Let me pull it up.
What a deal he's got. 9.5.
But listen,
8-year deal.
If there's one team that doesn't give a shit about money, up dog, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? If I'm Brad Treliving, I'm going to Maple Leaf Entertainment. It's like, we like you guys give a shit. So after this year, so he's got 1, 2, 3. He's got 5 years left, Jones. 5 years left on his deal.
Yeah.
He's 29. I get what you're saying. But Matthews has got what? Same thing, 4 years left. You got to bring somebody in there to help the fucking
big
D.
Time.
But that was just my rumor mill.
I love it.
Brad, if you're into it, buddy, let me know. Text me, Brad. I'll bring you in.
I'll orchestrate the deal. I'll take a point.
Hey, you know what? Max Domi, thought he played unbelievable. Bring him back. They got Revo under contract. If I'm true living, I would talk to Edmondson. Brody Cia. They got pieces, man. Listen, Tavares, 1 year left at $11 million. When he comes off the books, I do believe, I will go on Missin Curfew and say this. I believe if Brad makes the right moves, they will win a Stanley Cup before Austin Matthews' contract's over. But it's on Brad. He's got to make some moves. Yeah. And he needs some help from Marner to be like, all right, I'll waive my no trade. And with only 1 year left for Marner, he could go to Chicago, absolutely light it up with the Blackhawks, probably sign an extension right when he gets there, and help him develop.
They need a goalie, they need a D, and they need,
I don't know, Joe, this Wall kid might be the goalie.
Yeah.
You might be the goalie. It's not an easy job. That's why Brad's
absolutely not in Toronto.
That's why Brad's making the big bucks.
Is Muzzin ever going to come back and play?
Where's Felix Potvin when you need him?
You know what? I saw a picture of the cat at an alumni event with him and Dougie Gilmore, and they look pretty good.
Did he? Yeah, awesome.
Leafs got a great alumni.
I know.
Darcy Tucker, Dougie Gilmore, O-Dog. Your boy Kolobakova was always doing stuff.
Is he?
Yeah, they got a great alumni.
Wendell around there?
Oh, yeah. Wendell.
What about Mats? Mats Sundin?
Mats is back in Sweden.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's fishing.
Yeah, I love
He likes to fish. I think he's a dad.
What about Caberlet?
Caberlet's smoking a dart somewhere.
Yeah, totally. Did he smoke darts?
He seemed like he probably had one. I don't know. Checo smoked darts.
McCabe's a beauty.
Caber's down in Florida.
He's a beauty. Florida. I had him in Florida. He's an absolute treat.
How do you think the reaction of that rumor mill will go over with Leafs Nation? It's going to be interesting to see the reaction on social media.
I'd say everyone has their wish list of how to get Marner out of there.
Yeah, if you got a better trade, let me know. That was the one that first jumped into my head.
Yeah, I know you're right. You're bang on with a team that has the cap space and needs a guy like that.
Yeah,
and they need a passer. I mean, look at what Marner does for Matt. How many goals would Matthews have got this year without Marner on his team?
Well, what do you get, 69?
Yeah.
65. No, I've been saying you're putting Nylander with them. And then, listen, when Tavares comes off on $11 million after this year, that is going to open up so much room for Brad Treliving to do his thing. The cap is going to continue to go up. You can say, hey, Tavares, who would you rather have, Ryan O'Reilly or John Tavares? I'm asking you. Who would you rather have?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, is that even a question?
Okay. So Ryan O'Reilly makes $4 million. So you can go back to Tavares and say, Tavares probably had more points than this year. I'm sure he did.
No, I don't think so.
No? Tavares at $4 million as your third line center that plays power play. Now you got something cooking, in my opinion. Now you got something cooking. But him at 11, Marner at 10.5. It's like, poor Brad. They don't have a D. They got no goalie, like you said, although I do think Wall may be the guy ups. But I don't know. They got 4 or 5 years here to do it. Well, they got Matthews signed before the Coyotes come back.
Matthews locked up till
27, 28.
Yeah, so he's got 4 years.
So Jones would have 1 year left on his deal after Matthews' deal. I just think Brad's got to look at that 4-year window of, okay, I got Matthews for 13.2. How are you? And we got to fucking win a Stanley Cup here before this guy decides to go back to Arizona or sign with the Kings or whoever the hell he wants to go, right? You got to do what you got to do. I don't know. It's interesting, man. I mean, Bertuzzi's a free agent. Domi's a free agent. Jan Crook signed. I don't know.
Do you think Seth Jones is a guy that in limelight, like,
can he handle
Canadian? Does he like?
He's American, right?
Will he be is he American?
Yeah,
he is.
I don't know. I think
can he like turn it up? Will be able to face the music as like a Darnell Nurse making 9.5, and since his contract he's declined, but can he go into Toronto and resurge his career?
That's the $9.5 million question.
Fuck.
That is what Brad Treliving, or I guess Shane O'Brien, if I'm the GM, that's what I would be. I believe so much in Morgan Rielly as a defenseman. I don't think Morgan Rielly has had a fucking D partner that is even close to the ability that he should have. Mm-hmm. And I think Morgan Rielly is that good of a defenseman. He's 30, going to be 31 next year. He's in his prime. Get this guy a right-handed D-man to play with. And I think his defensive game will be better. Some people in Toronto will say, oh, Morgan Rielly sucks defensively. I just think...
What if he had that like Roenick?
Who? Oh, yeah.
Like that's the guy he needs, like a guy like that.
Yeah.
Steady, one-timer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that guy free?
I like Jones' size. Jones' size. Roenick's a free agent, yeah. But you got to think he's going to want to stay in Vancouver and play with Hughes.
It's going to have to pay him now, though. They fucking...
Oh, big time.
A season.
Big time. I guess the long and short of it, because we just talked about 15 minutes for that, is Brad, good luck, buddy. Hey, Brad,
have fun, fella.
Brad, you might want to get some Labatt Blues, fella, and just get half pinned and let it come to you. Like me and Updog, the one time we were going to invest in a weed company, and we decided to get stoned and then said,
and talk about it. And then we just even forgot what we were talking about. It's great.
So we couldn't do it anymore. Tea times, the Vegas Golden Knights. Oh, man, this one just stung, man. It just stung. Say what you want. When they went up 2-0, I thought, man, this is over. But I think Hurdle and Stone, I think Stone had 2 goals, maybe 3. But I thought as the series went on, you could see that they hadn't been playing. Those 2 guys particularly. They were kind of, you get back in the lineup up, you got the, the emotion, the adrenaline, But listen, I love this team. They're not going anywhere. They got great pieces. Ike's is unbelievable. We'll see what happens with Marchessault. But hey, It is what it is. Enjoy your summer, boys. You had a hell of a run, but what a series up dog it was.
It was great, and as we know, anything can happen in Game 7, especially when you're trying to go to a My Morning Jacket concert and it gets fucking canceled because of high winds.
Man.
So luckily for us, we hit up our boys Stoli and Teddy. We're in Hermosa Beach. We go to North End, good old hockey bar that they spent hours and days in when they won the cup. Those Kings, so shout out to those boys. We caught the game there. What is fascinating is how Peter DeBoer, does he not take over the title as Mr. Game 7 now, being 8-0 in Game 7s?
Yes.
I mean, that is insane.
Yes.
Wow. So, and shout out to him. And what I'd like to say about, the Golden Knights is they were just an entirely different team in the playoffs when my boy Ike's was like playing fast and direct. And the way the team plays when Ike's is going, and I'm not saying Ike's isn't always going. I'm saying like there's speeds to his game, and there's times in the game where he actually like turns on the afterburners like a McDavid does, and like these players that just play super high paced. When Jack Eichel plays high paced hockey, he's a top 3 player in the world. So I just. There was moments in this series when they were down and they played just so much better than they did when the game was tied or to start the games. And that to me was a big, big difference when you play a team like Dallas, who just was steady Eddie, who got the goaltending down the stretch, whose players found ways to never be down and stay in the game. There was 2 great teams. One of them, unfortunately, had to say good night, Jim Kite.
Yeah, and we'll see, how much of a toll it took out of the Stars when they got to play the Avalanche. But hey, Vegas, good on you. Enjoy the offseason. Ike's, get to some music festivals, buddy. Put the feet up.
Absolutely.
They're not going anywhere. And last but not least here on Tea Times, the fuck daddy, the Nashville Predators. Unbelievable year up, dog.
A successful one for Trotzy.
Unbelievable year for them. Zucker's UFA. I would probably assume Trotzy might talk to him. But I guess where I'm going with this up, dog, is they got all their key pieces signed. They got all their their McDonough, Roman Josi, Forsberg, O'Reilly, Nyquist. Go out and make a splash, Trotzy. Go out and sign a big-time forward. Go out and get somebody. I don't have the list in front of me. I don't even know if there's a guy out there. But if I'm Barry Trotz and Walks and the boys, you had a great year. You got a great coach. You got great fans. You got great goalie. You got great leadership. Go get a big-time guy. Go get a sniper. And I think if they get that up, dog, they will be back in the playoffs and making some more noise, my man.
Yeah. No, they're missing a game-time goal scorer. Big time. It can't all fall on Forsberg.
No, that series, it went the same way as it did for us when they beat us when I was in Nashville. And I look back at that series, and obviously Ryan Kessler was the difference. But if we had one more sniper, I think we would have beat them. I really do. Our D was good. I thought our D was better than their D. I thought we had more, grit, and they just were more skilled, and Kessler took over. And I think JT Miller, Brock Besser, they took over. Quinn Hughes, they just took over. But listen,
a good series. It was good hockey.
It was. Dude, I've never seen so many block shots.
I know, man.
It was crazy.
Those unders were hitting.
They were hitting. But listen, Nashville Predators, they will be back. Trotzy, we love you, buddy. Good luck there. Up Dog, that was Tea Times. Up Dog, my man, the Jägermeister Iciest shot of the night, presented by Jägermeister. Best served at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Damn, that's cold. www.DraftKingsXJägermeister.com. Damn, that's cold, fella. Up Dog, the Jägermeister Iciest shot of the night. Listen, this young kid, defenseman, number 6, big boy, Mason Lohrei, scores his first playoff goal, short side, spink, dink. You were talking about all the missiles.
What a missile.
This was an absolute bullet. Short side, top titty, first playoff goal. This kid's going to be a player. I love his size. I love his length. I didn't know he could shoot the puck like that. But Up Dog, that's the Iciest Jägermeister Iciest shot of the night.
How about the Selly? Great Selly. Staring at the crowd. One knee, pumpernickel. How are you? Great shot. And wow, Boston. If they find ways to score goals like this, it is going to be hard, boys.
Up Dog, DraftKings Series Preview, second round, presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Where do you want to start, fella? Little Hurricanes, little Rangers.
Where do you want to start, bro?
How are you?
Where do you want to start?
Well, I think we're on the opposite side of this one, so what better way to start? You got the Hurricanes and the Rangers, bud. Started early. It's 1-0 Rangers. Game 2, Tuesday night. Listen, I like both teams. I really do. It's this team. There's a really good chance, in my opinion, that one of these teams can make it out of the East. I think this series can maybe be for it all. Yes, I like Florida. Yes, I like a little bit of Boston, the way they're vibing. But to me, the Rangers, President's Trophy winners, playing a really strong Carolina Hurricanes team. From Freddie to Aho to Svechnikov, these guys just pour it on. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, listen, I got a couple thoughts up, dogs. The Rangers' power play is lethal.
Lethal.
If they're going to take penalties, you're going to lose the series, Carolina. And I love you, Freddie Anderson. You got to be just a little bit better because Shesterkin's unbelievable, and Freddie, I think he will be. I think the Hurricanes win game 2. I still don't think the Hurricanes have played their best hockey yet. And, they beat the Islanders in 5. They almost squeaked that one out at MSG. I expect them to bounce back. But listen, you got to stay on the penalty box. And Carolina's back end. They missed that Pesci. They miss him. They miss him. Because you know what? Chatfield, I hate battles, but I if you could take Chatfield out of the lineup, they would probably take D'Angelo. I wouldn't, but they miss him. They miss that D-man.
I mean, listen, shout out to Jordan Stahl, a little Selke nomination this week. Seth Jarvis, big goal in game 1, a guy that can be a huge difference maker when you look at the depth of their forwards, and I know you love this kid. Martinook, these are, you look deep in the lineup, they're hard guys to play against. You gotta just find a way. Like these guys, the New York Rangers are feeling it, right? Like they
are feeling
5. What did they sweep round 1?
5-0 in the playoffs.
5-0. Fucking Trocchi's doing his thing. It's hard to say, but Fox, I mean, he's fucking just tiptoeing and toe dragging and fucking dialing out.
Their D's good.
They're good.
Rangers D's good. It's been good all year. You got Shesterkin back there. Listen, MSG, what a barn, man. And there's just celebrities everywhere in there. Yeah. It's good for hockey for the Rangers to be good. And if I honestly, if I wouldn't have picked Carolina at the start of the year and believed in them all year here, I probably would have jumped ship and jumped on the Rangers bandwagon because I love watching the Rangers. Yeah. I love Trocheck. I love their power play. I love that building. I'm a big fan of Peter Laviolette. I think it's good for the game. But I took Carolina at the start of the year. They've had so much heartbreak. But listen, they got their hands full up, dog. They got their hands full. Bruins, Panthers, like Coop always said, it's only game 1. I expect, the Panthers to bounce back in game 2. But
the Hurricanes, you mean?
No.
Sorry.
Panthers.
Oh,
I expect the Panthers to bounce back in game 2.
My bad.
But like you said, watching game 1, felt like the pressure was on the Panthers, right? Even at
yes.
I'm like, these Bruins are playing like, oh, we're not supposed to be here. We were supposed to lose game 7 at home. Oh, you guys beat us last year. Well, here we are. Here we are again.
It was a gutsy effort. And I mean, the save in the first period, it's like a rebound 2-on-1 shot for your buddy pass off the far pad. And what a save. But it could have been 1-2-0 right away. And you know what it's like climbing back? You're just like, you know what? Just give them game 1. Let's just fucking go out and fight and throw our sticks. But they didn't, Boston. They came back. What a second period, man. Being down 1-0.
The Cats should have fucking gooned it up a bit.
They should have gooned it. Yeah,
someone should have grabbed somebody, but they don't really have anyone.
No.
Not to fight Big Rig or fucking our boy Trent Frederick. No. They don't want any part of those two boys. Get their ice pump shut.
Even Carlo on the back end, too.
Boy.
He's a big boy.
Really big boy. We'll see. It's on. That's what makes playoff hockey so great, up, dog. We'll move out here west to the Western Conference. Stars, Avalanche. I got the Avalanche. I believe you took the Stars. Did you not?
Did you talk to it? I think I got the Avs.
You took the Avs? Okay. I got the Avs in 6. I just think, how fresh they're going to be. I did see a clip of Gabriel Landeskog on the ice in his gear. So I don't know if that was just a tease or if that was trying to get me emotionally just like, oh my God, is there any chance he comes back? I don't think there's any chance he comes back this series, but to see him, well, let's put it this way. In the first round, I saw him skating in a tracksuit. And I was like, wow, this guy's nowhere close. And now I see him in his full gear. I'm like, okay, maybe, I don't know. Maybe we're trending towards something good. Listen, they got their hands full of the Stars. Avalanche won the season series, which is shocking to me because I always thought Dallas played them hard all year. Speed against size, speed against structure, skill against character guys and Ben and Seguin. Can the Stars keep up with the Avalanche? Can Georgiev play the way he did after game 1? I can't wait for this series to start tonight. I got the Avs in 6, baby. Come on, fellas. I want to come to Denver for the final. I want to come to Denver for the final, boys. Let's go.
I got them in 7. So, yeah, I'm on your page. I think this is going to be a great series. But, again, look at the way Dallas, is Dallas going to do what Florida just did? Come off a big emotional Game 7 at home. You got the Avs coming into your barn. I mean, it's going to be a great game. It's going to be an awesome series.
Let me just say one thing, too. Everyone knows I'm an Avs alumni, and I'm a diehard Avs guy. I have been the last couple of years. But I got no problem if Dallas, it'll hurt my wallet. But if Dallas finds a way to win the Stanley Cup this year, first of all, our boy Billy Quinn will be able to get to enjoy a nice Stanley Cup run, which is the most important thing, that guy's family.
Jamie Benn.
But Pete DeBoer, who I've got to know, I met him at Factor Stanley Cup party. We got to see him at the All-Star game a couple of years ago in Florida. You've seen the way his ex-guys that played on the Vegas Golden Knights shook his hand and how much he means to those guys. I'd have no problem with Pete DeBoer, Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, the city of Dallas of getting one. I'd have no problem with that.
You're exactly right, Obes. Yeah. I'm on board too. I think it's a great team, some great guys. They've had a taste of it in the past. Lockout year, made the finals, lost to our boy Tampa and Coop and the boys. But this is this is as good a chance as they'll have again with the way that they're built.
Yeah, and then Joel Pavelski, obviously, right? Yeah. He did say this is his last Stanley Cup playoff run here. So the only unfortunate thing about the Stars, and if they do beat the Avs, I will put some money on them after this series. I got no money on them, and I didn't pick them at the start of the year. It's like, I guess I could jump on the bandwagon, though, right? Fuck it.
Yeah, you still get 4-1 odds.
Yeah, maybe I'll tickle them after the show here, up dog. Last but not least, we'll be there Game 1, baby. Rogers Arena. Let's fucking go. Oilers Canucks. I just wish Thatcher Demko was playing. If he was playing and he was healthy and the Canucks big back end, JT Miller leading the charge up front, Brock Besser showing he can handle playoff hockey, I think the Canucks D is better. I think the Oilers have a better forward group. I think the Canucks D are better. I think it's going to come down to goaltending, up dog. Skinner is obviously the better goaltender as of right now. Can this guy do it for the Canucks? He's going to see missiles, as you would say.
Missiles. Is there 2 teams left in the Stanley Cup playoffs right now whose fan base hate each other more?
No, probably not.
Fucking rights.
Yeah.
This is fucking going to be a battle.
Do people hate Canucks fans? Yeah. Yeah, of course.
You played there. I
always
thought they were quiet and boring, to be honest.
I always thought
I never played in the playoffs there.
Yeah, I always thought Oilers fans hated Flames fans. Flames obviously played the Oilers. I didn't know if it was if they hate Canucks fans too. You grew up, you're an Oilers fan.
Yeah, I played junior in Kamloops. I understand that all of BC is a Vancouver Canucks fan. Yeah, that's no question. But you get Toronto, you go Ontario, you go to Alberta, you got a couple teams you got to pick from, right?
Yeah,
split that fucker in half.
No, definitely
you're going against a full province of some.
No, it's definitely the biggest rivalry left in the playoffs.
Yeah,
for sure. Western Canada.
I love BC. I love Kelowna. Yeah. I love trying out for the Canucks. I almost wore the jersey, but
you almost wore a lot of jerseys.
I almost wore the. So these are 2 teams that I went to training camp on, but I can't say I'm not torn because I'm not. I'm an Edmonton Oiler guy. For real. I want these guys. I want Canada to win a Stanley Cup. And I would be happy if either the Vancouver Canucks and Talkett win, but I'm going for McDavid and Draisaitl. I'm all in. I'm fucking putting my money where my mouth is, with no Demko and no Salofs. How did you say his name?
Oh, he's starting Game 1. Artis Salov is starting Game 1.
But
what's going on with Casey DeSmith is what I'd like to know. I mean, this kid's been good, but I would feel more comfortable with DeSmith in there personally, but maybe Talks and the boys are something
going on with him too. But
he's backing up. He's backing up.
Without the goalies and then the season series being swept from Canucks beating Edmonton, let's say that this should be a pretty even line. No, Oilers are fucking favored 2-1 to win the series.
The Oilers should steamroll, I think, but they're not going to, because I do believe in the structure that Talkett has. I do believe in the Canucks back end, and I love JT Miller. But if you're looking at it from a gambling perspective, with no start, they're playing their 3rd string goalie. That's why it's so. If Demko was in there, it would be a way different line, in my opinion. Way different. But listen, Propinski put in the fine print too. They went 4-0, but it was the first 2 games of the year. We all know what happened. And then the last game, there was no McDavid. So it's fuck. They were 4-0, but you can't go up that.
I mean, every which
I took the Canucks. I got them at plus 200 on DraftKings, baby. Up dog. I can't wait to get up there with you. What time's the bird tomorrow? 10:30, something, 10:50, something like that?
10:30 LAX, bud.
Hopefully no delays, Air Canada. The boys got to get up there. Roger, Kits Eyewear, we'll see ya. Can't wait to get up there. That was Missin Curfew. Thank you to Kyle Morgan, HallPass Media. That was Missin Curfew.
Fellas.